Is Greenland going to be the 51st state? No. Is Greenland as a territory going to vote for not its independence, but for itself to become a protectorate of the United States instead of Denmark? No. Why is Donald Trump continuing to talk about Greenland? I'll break it down for you right here. I'm Michael Popok. You're on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. I got to talk about Greenland. I love Greenland. I just never thought I'd have to talk about it at the intersection of law and politics as much as I'm doing right now. Let's break it down for you. This is not the first time Donald Trump's had the harebrained idea to take over Greenland. Now, I get it if they were willing to do it. There's 56,000 people that live in Greenland. They're under the protectorate of Denmark and the Kingdom of Denmark. Since 2009, Greenland has had the right to declare its own independence, but they see value in staying connected and tethered with an umbilical cord back to Denmark, and I understand why. 43 out of the top 50 rare earth minerals are in Greenland. It's sort of like upper Canada. Canada is also very valuable, and the relationship with Canada is very valuable because most of the natural resources that we need to run our military industrial complex, our AI computing, our clean energy technology comes from places like the Great White North and places beyond like Greenland. Now, the strategic value of Greenland can't be denied. I get it. If I was just playing some Monopoly game of world dominance and takeover, I think I would go for Greenland as a way to protect the United States, especially with the melting of the polar ice cap, the Arctic area up there, and more opportunities for development. There's more opportunities for maritime and fishing and oil exploration. I get it. But it's not for sale. How many times do we have to say that? Now, who put this idea in Donald Trump's head? Ronald Lauder, who was an ambassador under Donald Trump, heir to the Estee Lauder fortune in 2016 and 2017, got everybody all hot and bothered in the Trump administration to try to buy Greenland, to have the National Security Council evaluate whether they could buy, how would they go about buying Greenland? Now, we've looked at this before. Harry S. Truman thought it would be a great idea during the Cold War and as a buffer against Soviet incursion to take over Greenland. And they explored that as well. You know, we got our hands on Alaska at one point and Louisiana Purchase. But how many quadrillions of dollars is it going to take to buy a landmass the size of Greenland and the 56,000 people that will then come along with it? First of all, you'd have to convince the people who live in Greenlanders, I'm guessing here. You can correct me in comments. Convince them to turn away from Denmark, where they have a pretty good thing going, and turn towards the United States. They got to vote for that. Denmark's got to agree. I mean, I guess they could declare independence, which they've had a right to do since 2009, having fought for their own freedom. There's a lot of natives that live there, native Greenlanders. And then turn after that. I guess they could do a 1-2 trick here. And then turn towards the United States and have the United States offer them all sorts of, investment dollars, tax credits, new industry, new business, social welfare, social security, retirement funds. I mean, it's sort of like what we did in Alaska, where there's a lot of incentive for people to live in Alaska. I guess we can make it a rich opportunity for them. But Greenland is for Greenland. In fact, the Prime Minister Mule Egid said, "Greenland is ours. We are not for sale, and we'll not be for sale. And we're not in the habit of losing our long struggle for freedom." Now, I think also the purchase of Greenland, to the extent that Donald Trump understands geopolitical relationships, is going to piss off the Russians. And didn't we just watch Russia object to Ukraine potentially joining NATO and disturbing its own strategic military defense systems? Won't Putin see our purchase, so to speak, of Greenland to be a similar thing? And why do we want to buy a fight or buy a war with Putin? I don't know how that makes any sense. But there's been so much talk about it. I mean, we already have some military bases that the United States operates in collaboration with our ally Greenland, not as a threat of a takeover. let's see, I don't know how to exactly pronounce it. I think it's Popok space base. The Space Force has a base in Greenland for good reason. But I don't think that is the reason that we're going to be able to convince them for the takeover. But Donald Trump, he's just a phony real estate mogul. He sees it as a real estate transactional deal. It's not happening. We don't have the money to do it anyway, the cost of it. I mean, where's this money going to come from? Donald Trump's first thing he's doing is hollowing out the Internal Revenue Service as part of this funding package that got approved at the last minute to avoid a Christmas government closure and to keep the government running at least till March. They already had defunding of the Internal Revenue Service buried inside that funding bill that got passed. So they're already, the 118th Congress is already defunding the Internal Revenue Service. If you're going to continue the tax breaks for the ultra wealthy, you're not going to impose any kind of wealth tax on them. You're not going to collect money from estate taxes. You're not going to collect it from the top earners in this country. You're not going to do new corporate taxes. You're going to lower the corporate tax rate. Where's the tax revenue going to come from? If you're going to spend $100 billion trying to support people without regard to what happens to our economy, the fact that it's going to gut our economy in several sectors like food, right? Logistics, housing, and the like. If you're going to do all that, how are you also going to offer a several $1 trillion package to acquire Greenland? You're not. It's just magical thinking as a distraction. So people talk about Greenland and don't talk about RFK Jr., an obscenely unqualified person to be the head of our health department, National Health Department, or Pete Hegseth, a Fox and Friends weekend anchor, to be the head of our Pentagon, or Tulsi Gabbard, a potential Russian asset, at least has been alleged by several sources, including in the national intelligence community, being the head of our national intelligence, right? So it sort of distracts from all of that. Or the architect and the midwife for Project 2025 being the head of our Office of Management and Budget. Where is the money coming from? It's not. But it's just a distractor. So that we talk about Panama and Greenland of all things, and we don't talk about things that matter to the average American and the American economy, the personal economy of every American. So I've shot down Greenland, have I not? I'll continue to follow it all. I do a show now on the Midas Touch Network on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. It's called, wait for it, Popok Live. Yep, took me a while to come up with that. 45-minute show. I take questions from the audience, from the commentary. I give answers on Popok Live, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. on the Midas Touch Network. On Wednesdays and Saturdays, I co-anchor and co-founded Legal AF, the podcast. Top ranked, top 50, top 8 of any podcast, according to some recent polling, some recent reviews, which is amazing. I think Midas is number 2. We're number 8 in the world. Crazy numbers. I formed it in my bathrobe in a garage with Ben Mysalis. We had 4 people watching us less than 5 years ago. Now look at us. Okay. And then you can pick up Legal AF on all audio podcast platforms. New channel, you're on it. Boom, Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Hit the free subscribe button. Hit that blue button. Help us build this pro-democracy, completely independent channel. Now more than ever, especially on YouTube, we need independent commentary and analysis that doesn't owe itself, or it's not beholden to any millionaire, billionaire, oligarchs. We have no outside investors. We are completely people-funded, people-powered, and the like. So hit the subscribe button. Help us get to our 500,000 in the beginning by the first quarter in 2025. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.